So my last question for you, and obviously this has been a really amazing conversation. Thank you so much for sharing a bit about your business and about your journey. I want to end this off with a fun question, asking you, of course, to spill the royal tea about entrepreneurship and what you were not warned about throughout your journey when you decided to take this path.
So my name is Gagan Deep, I guess a full name. So I always go towards the deep. That's kind of like my personality and how that's the lens that I bring to this world. So one of the things that I was not privy to is, there's a lot of business owners who I talk to, and they have successful businesses, and they come from a lineage of business owners, or they have, their parents are in government jobs, and they can, tell their kids, hey, we'll give you this amount of money to start up your business. They kind of already have that business knowledge inside of them. They know how to make it grow. Whereas myself, I don't come from a business-oriented family. My dad is a taxi driver. He drives taxi in Edmonton, Alberta, and my mom is a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
And so, people, family always encourage you to go to the safe route.
Right.
Hey, get a government job, or hey, work in a hospital to, get your finances in order, build a family, things like that. There's always a linear path. But when it comes to business, there's a lot of uncomfortableness that you have to encounter, and a lot of aloneness that you have to encounter. And so, um, coming from that background and don't really have that knowledge, and also, um, you have to work a lot harder to, get your name out there, figure out who you have to talk to, figure out, do the research, and also figure out what sort of funding there is available, things like that. And so I found myself in that position, that, family is great. They're a very strong rock, but they always want you to go towards the safe route. And so, there's been moments where you have to tap into your savings, and you're not making a lot of money. You're not attracting patients, clients, or perhaps you're making something for the community and it's not selling right. You really get down on yourself, and you, feel like, why am I doing this, right? Another safe route is, going towards something that's stable. And so, I remind myself that I am creating a path that is very unique to my circumstance. My family, not very business oriented. I just, look at others and, see, who has, kind of walked the same path that I've walked in, and I kind of gravitate towards them. I'm like, okay, so, coming up with a grassroots family, who was focused on survival. Like I myself, my parents are from India, immigrants from India, and so my dad didn't have a lot of money coming to Canada. He got married, and focused on survival, right? Going to having a place, and going to the next place. But they provided a lot of comfortness to us, and they showed us what hard work can lead towards. And so
Absolutely.
My dad, with his job, he worked crazy amount of hours, and he bestowed that hard work and that determination into my brother and I. And so that's something that we carry. So it's something that, kind of to wrap it all together, is, there's a lot of things that you have to overcome. It's not your fault.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just a circumstance in which you grew up with, and to be forgiving of yourself, and being like, what? There's other people who come from different circumstances. They're, on Mount Everest, where you are trying to get to Mount Everest, but you have to work 10 times, 20 times harder than them.
Yes, but retrospectively, somebody could have started maybe a little earlier than you.
Absolutely.
And is successful.
Yeah.
And they might be making millions in their 30s.
Yeah.
And you might start in your 30s, and
Absolutely.
you feel like you're behind. but I don't know if
Yeah.
I believe fully that anyone's truly behind in life. It's
Yeah.
just everyone has their own journey and their starting
Absolutely.
point.
Absolutely.
Maybe you start a little later, but in 5 years you probably can match or surpass it.
Yeah.
You know, so we just never know.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer, of course, hard work does pay off.
Yeah.
And even if you do go into a route where it doesn't necessarily have the reward that you were anticipating,
Right.
there was something about that journey that you needed to go through personally, whether it's for character development or learning some skill sets that might help you in your next phase in life that could then get you to that point of success, right?
Absolutely.
So I try to caution myself, and I'm typically a person that doesn't like to compete with others. I try not to compare myself to how other people is. It's really hard in this day and age.
Very
when
hard.
you know, there's social media, there are people that are around you, you know, some people that you think, oh, has it right, they figured it out, they know what they're doing. But we also don't know their story.
Absolutely.
And this comes back to whole, like, basically what you do in terms of practice, which is like, there's a degree of empathy that we need to have for people, and a lot of like folks that I know, at least, or even myself and probably yourself, is that we may project a face in front of people, but like back to the song that you were referring to earlier, which is like, we have issues that people don't know about, right?
Exactly.
And so even the rich, the poor, it doesn't matter who it is, there's some level of frustration or things that they're going through in life that we're not aware of. And wealth doesn't always mean that you're going to be at peace.
Absolutely.
You know, so yeah, I agree with what you said, and we all have our stories, but that's what makes our pursuit for this even more rewarding. It's conviction, right?
Absolutely. And also, like, let's work together. You know, let's create a community, and I'm not talking about, you know, just here, but worldwide. Let's create a community where, like, we push each other and we uplift each other. Even in the psychotherapy field, there's a lot of competition, and you know, people are not as willing to mentor or willing to take you on, you know, because they see that, okay, well, you have A, B, and C qualities that isn't going to be a direct threat to my practice. And I think it shouldn't be that way. It should be, you see someone, let's work together, let's make sure that both of our practice thrive. You know, that helping hand can mean a lot to that person, and then that person, like, oh, you know what, Sally, for example, or Shirin, for example, help me out.
Right.
And so now I have that need to help out someone else, right? So it's like a generational investment that you're making, is, you know, lend a helping hand to people that need, and also take a minute to just hear them out and listen to them, you know, talk to them, and that 5 minutes can go a long way. So
agreed.
Yeah.
I feel like we forget that not investing on the next generation is going to be a problem. And how I see it is, everyone has their bread in this world. Like, we all have a way where we're going to make money. Like, there's no way that somebody can really alter your path and your successes. Like, no one has that kind of power. But like you said, mentorship is super difficult to come by. And I mean, it can be reduced to many different reasons. So time is definitely one of them. I understand that a lot of people don't have the time to mentor the new generation and get them going. But it does sometimes feel a bit transactional.
It does,
looking for people to support. And the fear of, obviously, if I mentor this person, then they might eventually, you know, surpass my success and take over my clients and all kinds of things that come into play, right? But down the road, I think there's always a return for helping people.
Absolutely.
And our next generation needs to be cared for and invested in. And, like, what's going to happen when a lot of people retire and these kids are, like, you know, having to enter the workforce, but not really knowing where to start, what to do, how to go about things, how to even be a founder.
Absolutely. And well, speaking of mentors, let's kind of talk about this a little bit. Do you have someone that's in your past or your present that you go to that helps you out, or, you know, seen something in you so that you can propel to the next level? Do you have someone currently?
Yeah, I mean, there are a few people that I go to bounce ideas off of. You were my sounding board, and who kind of been there. And, like, it's interesting, some of them are my old bosses too. Because like, I mean, those ones that believed in what I could do and have seen what I can do and really want to project me forward. But generally speaking, I feel like it's not even celebrated enough to be a person who's innovative. I think we mentioned this prior to the camera. You having ideas, everything is so oriented around this hustle culture that it's ignoring the strengths and weaknesses of people in the workforce. So instead of saying, oh, person A has like this much strength and we can really capitalize on that and give them meaning and give them purpose in the work that they're doing, it gets completely ignored, and it's always about the task at hand instead of focusing on problem solving and how to utilize your employees in a way that can actually produce the best outcome. Right? It's always just more about, let's just get this task done. It's not about efficiency.
Absolutely.
You know, so there's just many levels to it, but I always remember the people that propelled me forward.
Absolutely.
And I always go back to it, and I even try my best to like appreciate them even throughout my stages in life. I don't forget the people that have helped me throughout my journey.
And for myself, I had back in the day, I used to work in a shelter, and I had a particular supervisor that was just very kind, empathetic, genuine, kind of made herself available whenever I needed, right? And under her tutelage, I was able to become like a senior worker and then a manager and things like that. And so, you know, I've always attested a lot of my leadership skills towards her because she taught me,
right?
And she saw something in me,
encouraged you,
yeah. And so she was a very, very strong mentor to me. And even though we don't talk as much, and I'm talking like 5-10 years ago, she still has a particular important big part in my day to day, right? Like, oh, what would she do?
Right.
And so I, even when I work with others, I always try to make myself available if I can, right? Because I learned that's how she carried herself, and she passed that on to me, right? So, it's super important to find someone, or it could also be your parents as well, right? To bounce ideas off of, or what have you, to prevent that aloneness.
Of course. Yes. Well, thank you so much for spending the time to share this journey with us. And I truly hope that your startup becomes a success.
Thank you.
You seem very passionate about what you're doing. And hopefully also viewers will propel you forward.
Thank you. Yeah. And thank you, Shirin, for having me. And I love the tea that we have, the setup, and the royalness of this all. I dressed up for this, and shout out to the glove that she gave me, and that propelled me forward in this interview by having this glove. So thank you for that.
It got us through.
Exactly.
The power of resilience.
The power of resilience
in the glove.